Morning and welcome to the Tuesday, March 24th, 2026 meeting of the Lewis and Clark County Commission. Please stand with us and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll take a moment to introduce the folks on this end of the room. We have over here on the far left, Jenny Chambers, the Director of Public Works and Planning. Brandy Grandy is our recording secretary, keep track of all of our proceedings. Commissioner Andy Hunthausen, to my immediate left. I'm Tom Rolfe, chair of the commission this year. Commissioner Candace Payne is to my right, and Nico Hash representing the county attorney's office, trying to keep us within the law. And Roger Baltz, our chief administrative officer, who we all depend on so very much. All right. I encourage you to sign in at the other side of the bar. There's a sign-in sheet, and we ask you to leave contact information there as well. There's also an agenda for today's meeting. Looks like we have no consent action items. We do have 3 items on our action agenda. Jenny Chambers.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Jenny Chambers, Lewis Clark County Public Works and Planning Department Director. On March 10th, 2026, the Commission opened 3 bids that were open for the 2026 paint striping project. The project consists of paint striping on various county roads in the city of East Helena, and also 1 road in Jefferson County, Montana. The funding for this project is from the road infrastructure budget, but we also get reimbursed from the city of East Helena and Jefferson County for their components of the project. After review of the bid, staff recommends awarding the contract to the low bidder, Highmark Traffic Services Incorporated of Billings, Montana. The total unit price amount of $72,730.95, and authorize the chair to sign all applicable contract documents. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Any comments?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Hunthausen.
Director Chambers. Some might just be curious about the East Helena Jefferson County thing, just for explanation purposes. Why we do that. I know why, but I just wanted to maybe explain it on the record.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Hunthausen, yes. One is to help with economy of scale. So they're neighbors of Lewis and Clark County, or in Lewis and Clark County, like the city of East Helena. And if they have small projects or small roads, if we add their components into our bid, it reduces their overall cost. So we just do it from coordination or efficiencies. Also, Highway 282 runs in multiple jurisdictions. It runs on a little bit of East Helena County, Lewis and Clark County, and then Jefferson County. And so for ease of the contractor work, we're not going to paint part of it, stop, paint part of it, stop. We just coordinate with them and get that repainted in coordination, and then get reimbursed for their effort of their project.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Makes good sense. Any other questions from the commission? All right. Then we'll move on to public comment. Is there any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we award the paint striping bid to Highmark Traffic Services of Billings, Montana for a total price of $72,730.95 as presented by Director Chambers.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of awarding the 2026 paint striping project bid to name of the company.
Highmark.
Oh, there it is. Highmark out of Billings, Montana for $72,730.95. Please say aye.
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 Opposed, sign. Motion passes unanimously. We have the pleasure of having a report from Rocky Mountain Development Council today.
Morning. For the record, my name is Lori Ladas, Loriladas. I'm the Executive Director of Rocky Mountain Development Council, and I'll allow my colleague to.
Hi, I'm Beth Branham, BETHBRANAM, and I'm the Deputy Director at Rocky.
Commissioners Rolfe, Hunthausen, and Payne, thank you so much for allowing us to come up today and talk about our work plan for fiscal years 26 and 27. The first thing I would like to do is give you a refresher on Rocky and what we do over there at the neighborhood center and around the counties of Lewis and Clark, Broadwater, and Jefferson. We run senior nutrition and transportation programs, which includes Meals on Wheels, congregate dining in senior centers around the Tri-County area. In Helena and Augusta and Lincoln would be the ones specific to Lewis and Clark County. We also do deliver some meals over to Helena Indian Alliance. Our transportation program is fairly small. It basically brings seniors to and from the neighborhood center to participate in activities. The senior center activities that we have here in Helena include things like exercise classes, crafts, wood carving, quilters, a lot of card playing, and bingo. That's a big one on Wednesdays right after lunch. We also run various volunteer programs that are under the AmeriCorps Seniors funding source, and those encompass foster grandparents, senior companions, and retired and senior volunteers. Rocky Agency on Aging is also under Rocky Mountain Development Council, and that program provides information and resources and referrals to individuals and families for all things senior related, long-term care type questions, et cetera. They do Medicare open enrollment. They assist with Medicare questions and issues. And they also are the grantor of the Older Americans Act funding that flows through to Rocky to run our senior nutrition program. Energy services is another area that we run programs in, and that includes the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, also known as LIHEAP, Weatherization Program, and Energy Share. We also run the Emergency Solutions Grant, which is a pretty small grant for Helena in actually the Tri-County area, but it's to assist people that are in a situation where they're at risk of losing their housing or they're currently without housing and we're trying to get them into housing. We run Head Start in the Tri-County area. We also run a preschool that is located in the neighborhood center, and that is not income qualified, whereas Head Start, you have to be income eligible to be able to enroll. And finally, we have affordable housing projects all around the Tri-County area, 382 units in total. And so I would like to turn it over to Beth. She is the one who has worked long and hard putting the work plan together. Beth's been with Rocky since July of 25, so she's fairly new, but she came to Rocky with a lot of experience working in the HRDC in Great Falls. So I will turn it over to Beth and she'll present the work plan.
All right, thank you, Lori. So everyone should have received our work plan ahead of time, so I'm not going to read it line by line or anything like that, but I'll give you an overview of the work plan and what is included. So this is our CSBG work plan, our Community Service Block Grant. And like she said, it covers fiscal year 26 and 27. And how it's outlined, if you are able to look at the first page, is that each section will have an overarching goal. And so the first one being low-income individuals and families become self-sufficient. And that's a main goal that's throughout a lot of our work plan. And then we also have community and organizational goals as well. And so I will just walk through each domain and kind of what's included. Lori gave a great overview of all the programs. But our first domain is education and youth development. And these goal areas and domains, they come from the national theory of change that community action agencies utilize across the nation. And each section starts out, there's a green box there that has key needs assessment items. And where that comes from is our community needs assessment. So as part of CSBG, we have to do a community needs assessment every 3 years. And our last one was just completed in November. And so that's where the data in here is coming from. And so the first area, like I said, is education and youth development. And you'll see in like the left column, that's where our strategies, our solutions are, or what our programming is. And under this domain, it's really our Head Start program, our preschool, and our AmeriCorps Seniors Foster Grandparent program. And then the second column is what our projected outcomes are that we hope to achieve. And in the education area, it's a lot around school readiness and those pieces. Next column is relating to what the national performance indicators are. And those are part of, we have a CSBG annual report that we have to do every year. And so that's just correlating to those indicators in that report. And then lastly, just our measurement tools of where we're tracking all of these outcomes and information. And so our next domain is housing and same individual level goal. And under here, these really encompass those programs that Lori talked about, which is our housing program, our emergency solutions grant program, as well as energy services is included in this housing area as well. And then the next domain being health and nutrition, we have a lot of our programs included under here. That's a big focus for us. And so we have all of our senior programming, our agency on aging, nutrition and transportation, all of our volunteer programs, as well as Head Start included in here with outcomes, and our energy program as well, because all of those services make, homes safer for folks so that they can maintain in their homes. And that's a big piece of what the outcomes in this area are around maintaining stability and also, of course, increasing wellness and overall well-being. Our next goal area, that one is on civic engagement and community. And that includes our board of directors is included in that piece. Our volunteer programs are included in there, as well as there's a lot of volunteerism within our Head Start program as well. That's reflected there. And then this year they've had us breaking out transportation a little further. So there's a section for that, not really with outcomes, but more a breakdown of services. So just looking at the, what we're providing for transportation, and then also breaking that down by medical rides. So one example being through our RSVP program, we have something called Go Getters, where volunteers give folks rides to medical appointments. So that's something that would be included in there. And then the next domain is service delivery and outcomes across multiple. And really what that's referring to is just case management that's provided throughout our programs, eligibility determinations for each of our programs, and referrals that we provide to other community entities and within our own services as well. And then lastly, we just have some goals around organizational capacity. So our goal being to maintain and improve organizational capacity, effectiveness, and efficiency to achieve results. And really what's included under here is a lot of the things that are required by CSBG for us to do, such as updating our financial policies, making sure to do our community needs assessments every 3 years, making sure our staff have adequate training and those types of things. And so that outlines the organizational piece. Happy to answer any questions about our work plan.
Well, I feel very appreciative to your organization. My family has had a connection with Rocky from on the early age schedule and in advanced life, and feel like you've been a real asset to us even before we moved to Helena 35 years ago. So thank you for all that you're doing. Are there any questions from the
I have just a question on a
Committee.
term.
Commissioner Payne?
Thank you. On the last page and maybe previously, but I didn't notice it. ROMA, Roma. What's Roma?
So Roma, that's something that's also required by CSBG.
Right.
And that's results oriented.
Did anyone mention to you that I am acronym phobic?
I
have
understand.
No idea what those letters you just rattled off.
Yeah, so it's results oriented management and accountability.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we're required to either consult with a Roma trainer or have one on staff. Kathy, that was on staff, was a Roma trainer, and I am in the process of becoming one for Rocky. So that's what that's referring to. Great question.
All right.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Henhausen.
And Commissioner Payne, when she says CSBG, that's the Community Services Block Grant, which is at the top of each page, or top of most pages, it has
Yes,
it up there. Yeah.
I figured that one out.
So it's great. Both of you know, or you should know, I love Rocky, and very proud of the work that you do and that happens in our community for not only our seniors, but overall. It's a lot of, I'll say, community leadership, if you will, and foundational perspectives for nonprofits in our community and the work that you do. And then I just think it's critical. Most of this funding is federal and or state federal combo, but can you speak to how important the local, I'll call it match is, or the local mills are? They're really important piece because not everything's covered by the federal dollars, and there has to be local dollars that participate in making sure the services are provided. And I just want people to understand that our local community is investing, our local taxpayers, and commissioners may not know this as well, just not have an opportunity to be on the board yet, and those kinds of things. But I think it's really important that we talk about that and how important that local match is and how it gets us kind of over the hump in some places and allows you to continue to provide services that maybe would not be available if not for that match. So I'll stop there.
I can take that one. Commissioner Hunthausen, thank you for that question. And exactly what you said, most of our programs have a significant chunk of federal funding and some have some state funding and typically require a match, and you need to use a different source of funding to match federal funding. And that's where the local contributions come in for a couple of our programs, such as the Senior Companion and Foster Grandparent Program and Retired and Senior Volunteers. We couldn't run those programs without the local match. And just to give you an idea of what happens within those programs is foster grandparents, the volunteers go into classrooms and help with students who are needing a little extra help with reading or math or anything like that. And it helps them just get a step up when a teacher is spread pretty thin and can't always attend to all levels of ability that are in the classroom. So that's what they do. The senior companions are matched up with folks, with senior citizens who need a little bit of assistance with daily living. They are allowed to do a little light housekeeping. They offer just companionship, visiting, help people to be less isolated, and they also drive them to and from like grocery shopping or medical appointments. And the retired senior volunteers, they kind of touch a lot of different areas. They help us out in our senior center here in Helena. They check people in. They assist with things like the card players or the activities, the exercise classes. The Go-Getters that Beth mentioned is a group that takes people to and from medical appointments. And that one, I really feel like we could do a whole lot more if we had a few more volunteers, because the word of mouth around that has really spread, and we just don't have the capacity just yet to handle, I think, what the demand could be. Retired senior volunteers also staff Helena Food Share. They help in the food pantry regularly, and so that's what those programs do. The Older Americans Act funding is federal funding that comes in for our senior nutrition program, but between that funding and a little bit of state funding, we still don't have quite enough to cover the complete the needs of the program in terms of the cost. And so it's pretty critical that we have local funding to be able to close the gap. And one statistic that I did bring that I didn't mention earlier was in fiscal year 25, in Lewis and Clark County, we served 88,261 meals. And that was both Meals on Wheels and people coming in to eat in the senior centers. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. I just want, Mr. Chair, if I could, I just wanted to bring it up because I think we're going to be talking about it as our budget season comes along here, and how the local match, if it's keeping up and those kinds of things, and what we might be able to do going forward. I also had a question about, or just maybe make people aware about, you brought up the number of housing units that Rocky has invested in and helped to create in our community. And the need versus the numbers we have, there's still a significant need out there, waiting lists and those kinds of things. And the costs have significantly gone up. Just speak to that a little bit so people understand how involved Rocky is in the.
Sure. We have, I think we have 12 individual housing units around the 3 counties. And in Helena, those properties are the Red Alder are the 2 properties that are the newest. We leased those up in 2021. And then we have on the north side of Helena, Ptarmigan and Pheasant Glen. We have River Rock is also just a little bit north of Custer Avenue. And then over on the east side of Helena, we have the Eagle Manor complex. There's 3 separate properties there. They are all serving, the Eagle Manor property is serving senior citizens and individuals with disabilities. The other projects I mentioned just before that are a combination of senior citizens, people with disabilities, and families. And then outside of Helena, we have a property in Augusta, and we have 2 properties in Townsend and 1 in Boulder. And we are currently in the process of looking at the possibility of doing a rehabilitation project on the Eagle Manor property. It's a fairly old property. There's one of those buildings that was actually built using low-income tax credits that Rocky obtained. And the other 2 were already in existence. And when we took them over, we used tax credits again to rehabilitate them, but it's been over 20 years and there's a lot of additional needs like boiler, heating, cooling, just upgrades that need to happen to keep a property viable. And so we're looking into doing a project there, and we're also looking into doing a project, hopefully, maybe in the East Helena Habitat Rose Hills project. That's on the horizon.
All right.
And one more thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Wait list. We usually have around 600 plus people on wait lists for all of our properties. I mean, that's a total. That's not each, but it's a total.
Well,
So there's definitely a need.
yes. All right. Any other questions? Yes, Commissioner Payne.
You were talking about improvements to the Eagles. When one of the things that I've been amazed at is county government, the people in our little family have a requirement for a CIP, capital improvement project. If we want to fix a building, people like Jenny have to say, okay, we need to have $100 million. We're going to put this away $10 million a year and buy. So are you able to do anything like that as far as planning for these improvements?
That's a tough one for a primarily grant funded organization because we can't really draw down money and then squirrel it away. We do have a bit of unrestricted money that we have invested, but in order to do a project like that, what we would do is we would apply for the tax credits. There's a type of tax credit that's a non-competitive low-income housing tax credit that we are thinking of applying for. And then there's also funding sources like home funds and housing trust funds that are through HUD. And so we generally have to put together a stack of funding that comes from a lot of different sources. But it's not like we're actually putting aside money over time because we mostly can't.
And I kind of thought that's the way it would work, but it's really interesting to see that you figure out a way to do it. So congratulations.
We try, and thank you.
Well, thank you for the great work you're doing. You mentioned the need for volunteers in case people don't know where you're located and where to apply to volunteer. We want to give them a little more direction.
Sure. If people are interested in volunteering, you can call our main office, which is located in the neighborhood center at 200 South Cruz Avenue. And the phone number is 406-447-1680.
Wonderful. All right.
And Mr. Chair, and for
Mr.
you and
Henhouse.
Commissioner Payne, I think bingo's on Wednesdays, right?
It's a busy day.
Yes, but we don't have regularly scheduled meetings on Wednesday. I could do that. Smart aleck.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Do we have any public comment on this? We really thank you for coming and giving us an update. I can't help but remember when my wife and I were first married. We'd come up to visit her grandmother, Roberta Fisher, and she would always say, "Now, you remember, I go up and feed the old folks at Rocky, and so you come after lunch after I get back home." And she would walk from the 700 block of North Jackson up to Rocky every day to help in the kitchen. It kept her busy and doing things. And she was helping the old folks, and she was one of them.
That's
How old was
wonderful.
she?
Yeah.
Tom, how old was she?
Well, somewhere in the around in the 80s, I think. I can't remember exactly. Yeah. So,
Great story. Thanks for sharing.
you bet. And thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you much. Any other comment, public comment? Seeing
Mr.
none, we'll move on to the next. Oh, Roger, excuse me.
Sure. I just thought I would chime in and say Commissioner Hunthausen already referenced this, but RMDC usually appears in late May at our through our budget process and provides information associated with their funding requests. So that'll be coming up in just a few weeks, and we'll look forward to that. And I wanted to ask Lori while we had her here too. I seem to recall a couple of years ago you mentioned that you could use more bus drivers if any of the county commissioners wanted to step up and do that. I was wondering if that was going okay for you.
Well, funny you should ask because we just lost our bus driver last week. So we're currently without a bus driver. So yeah, if anyone wants to come and drive the bus, you don't need a CDL.
No.
All right.
Thanks, Lori.
Very good.
Good to know.
If I could ask one more question, or actually, I have a letter that I'll need to have signed, and this work plan requires approval by the commission, and then typically I send the letter. Who should I send that to get that? Would that be Nadine?
Get it to Roger.
Okay,
Would be fine, and
Great.
we'll get it around.
thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, and thanks for the great work you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we've got one last item on our action agenda. We have a board appointment. Roger?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This is item 3C on the agenda today. You have the backup memo. I'll read it into the record. This is for a board appointment to the City County Parks Board. The candidates that you're considering today meet consideration for each board. The Consolidated City County Parks Board has 3 county seats. There is 1 vacancy on the board. Eric Burke applied. There were no other applicants. Staff recommends that the commission consider the applicant to a partial term that will expire September 30, 2027. Thank you.
All right. Any questions from the commission? Is there any public comment on this board appointment? Any public comment? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the board appointment to the City County Parks Board as explained by Roger.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the commission on the motion?
Mr. Chair, I just
Commissioner Hanhausen.
think Mr. Burke will be a great addition. He's very active in the park world out in the Helena Valley and Rossiter Park there, and I think he'll be an excellent addition.
Great. And we would encourage anybody who has an interest in working on the many boards and committees that advise the county commission and advise all of our government units to take a look under the county website for the boards and commissions. Take a look at all the opportunities there are for volunteers. We certainly appreciate the folks that do, and we need more volunteers. All right. If there's no further discussion, and we do have, I guess we have a motion.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of appointing Eric Burke to the Consolidated City County Parks Board, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. We've arrived at that point in our agenda where we always offer an opportunity for public comment for anyone who may have a concern about a matter that's under the jurisdiction of the county commission, but not on today's agenda. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we're adjourned.